Welcome to Half Full and a Cup of Joe with Joe Fulford, the show that's always overflowing with optimism and caffeine. Joe's got his game face on and his coffee cup full, ready to dive into the world of football. From the Florida Gators to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beyond to college and NFL football, Joe's got the analysis, the insights, and the passion to get you pumped up and ready for the game. So sit back, relax, and fill up your cup with Joe. And now from West Des Moines, Iowa, here is Joe Fulford.
Well, it was really nice to have a week off, even though it's probably the wrong week to do so. But, I had such a great time in both Memphis and Nashville with the lovely one. Got to see a lot of places. And I even had a chance to see the concerts both at the Ryman Auditorium and the Grand Ole Opry. And you've got to tour both places. I mean, that is that, and there's really something to see, no doubt. I mean, if you ever have the opportunity to go to Nashville, you should do so. Because I got to tell you, it is really a fantastic opportunity to go. And had a great time visiting a lot of places. Had this big, you have Hollywood, have a Hollywood Walk of Fame. Well, in Nashville, down Broadway, they have a Nashville Walk of Fame with a lot of stars, and it had a lot of stories. And here's one thing that I noticed about it is that on the Walk of Fame, you had like a lot of stars like Reba, Laney Wilson, Jason Aldean, a lot of people. And I saw a star for Kix Brooks, but I did not see one for Ronnie Dunn. I mean, how can you miss one of the greatest country duos of all time? I mean, seriously. I mean, that was just mind-boggling to me, and I kept looking around trying to find it, and I couldn't do so. But that was something that was really, really awesome to see. And if you visit Nashville, if you get the opportunity to visit Nashville, I'm trying to do something here. If you get the opportunity to visit Nashville, go up and down the bar alley. I don't know what they call it, bar alley, but they have a lot of bars like Alan Jackson Bar, the Kid Rock Bar. I think they had a Dwight Yoakam Bar. They had a lot of bars down there. It was really good, and it takes you the whole day for that. Even had the opportunity to visit Graceland. That was really something to see. That is something that takes you all day to see. So if you ever want to go to a vacation, that is what you want to do. Had a great time, and it was to take time off and get away, but also to help celebrate the lovely one and mine's eighth wedding anniversary. We've been married 8 years. Is it amazing that somebody has to put up with me for 8 years? But I'm glad I'm back. But man, there were quite a lot of things that was happening during the course of the past 2 weeks. The Buccaneers they did themselves well. They won both of their games in fine fashion. My wife and I, we saw the game when they were in Seattle. Then we were back home. We were back home here in Des Moines. And as we were back home, I had a very interesting but very scary experience about that. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later on in the show. And I think you really get a kick out of it. But glad you could join me. Our chat room is open. Glad you could join me on Facebook. YouTube, X, JAnimal45. Catch me there. Um, and if you have questions, please post them because I will be more than happy to answer them. But Saturday was an all day thing. As the wife and I, we drove 12 hours straight from Nashville, Tennessee, back home here in Des Moines. 12 hours. I gotta tell you, that was a very tiring experience, no doubt. But it was fun. And we did this on a Saturday, and while we were doing it, we had a chance to listen to the Gator game. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch until like maybe the last 4 to 5 minutes, so I didn't see much of the game. To be honest with you, I didn't even want to watch the replay of it, given everything that we saw happen during the course of that game. And it was just a lot of ways it was heartbreaking to see. It was heartbreaking to see this team who have played so damn well against Texas, only to be only to lose to a team like Texas A&M. Because I think that for a lot of people, they felt like that they could really put something together. And for a while, it sounded like they were doing it. But then again, Billy Napier's epic play calling ability, did him in. And because of that, they ended up losing what could have been a great ball game. Well, Browne of SEC Inside may join me here a little bit later on, and we'll discuss all that. But, if you have something that's going good, stick with it. Don't be calling running plays when you know they're not going to work. And that's what happened in this game. And as a consequence to that now, it's very possible that Billy Napier could very well be out of a job following this weekend's game. I can tell you that for a fact that Scott Strickland has had conversations with a prominent booster about what's going on. And is it fair? I don't know. I mean, I think after what we saw with James Franklin being fired on Sunday, okay. I mean, this is the same James Franklin that took Penn State to the playoffs last year. And it's like, what have you done for me lately? Are you serious? You really want to fire a guy after you have you really want to fire a guy after you have after your coach leads you to the playoffs? I don't understand it. I mean, we're living like in an age where what have you done for me lately? And it is just so sad to see, I want to talk a lot about this tonight. As I said, Von Browne is going to be joining me a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. Let's see here. Typing through some things here. And we'll talk about that. We got a lot of football coming on tonight. Pittsburgh is at Cincinnati. We have baseball, the playoffs going on right now. The Rays formally have the new ownership in place now. They're looking for 10,000, I think like 10,000 square foot lease is 10,000, 100,000, something like that. And that leads me to my next point here. I had the opportunity to. We had the opportunity on our way to Nashville. We stopped by the Arch, and had an opportunity to take a look at a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it was just amazing to see. Obviously, we couldn't get in it because of the government shutdown. But across the street from the Arch is Busch Stadium, where the St. Louis Cardinals play. Very nice stadium. Very nice stadium. But what really appeased me and what really just got me excited was what was across the street. There were a few bars there, and including one bar known as FanDuel. Okay, and you've heard of FanDuel. They're part of the broadcasting now. And FanDuel had a sports bar there in St. Louis. Holds about 5,000 people. Big, big. I mean, a bar that's really big, very nice. And it got me to thinking that if the Rays are going to be really serious about building a new stadium, they better have facilities like this in place where bars are nearby where people can hang out before and after games and be able to see you know, see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that the new owners should take a few trips across the country. Go to Minnesota, go to Kansas City, go to St. Louis, and not so much see the stadium, but see what surrounds them. And as you see, there's a lot of stores, restaurants, bars, right in the neighborhood. Even a memorabilia store for the St. Louis Cardinals. Really cool, really cool. And as I'm looking, I'm like, why aren't the Rays doing this? To be quite honest with you, why aren't the Bucks doing that? You know, have some type of place to go after their games. You can certainly do it up in Gainesville. I mean, they have plenty of places to go to. I'm sure those bars have been filled more than the stadium at times, given what's been happening. And it's sad to see what's happening with this Florida Gator team. You know, the Texas one was great. They gave him a reason. Even I was really pumped up, ready, thinking to myself, you know, this could be a team that could really be something special if they ever get their act together. Or no, they have to really screw things up against the Aggies. Now, I'm not going to lie, Texas A&M is a very good football team. They're great. And I think that, you know, the Gators were dealt a very bad hand schedule-wise. But you have to play with the teams you play against. And for the Gators, they've been very competitive in most of these games. That is what's so hard to fathom. That you end all these games against these top-notch opponents, not getting your asses blown out. You end the games. And you make some stupid moves, stupid play calling, and in the end, it just costed them. Big time. And it just frustrates Gator fans. It just makes them just nervous as all get out. Hopefully, Ron Browne will be joining me a little bit later on, and we'll talk about that. And of course, we'll talk a lot about the Bucks. Now, as far as the Gators go, I mean, where do they go from here? They have homecoming coming up Saturday night against Mississippi State. Mississippi State, Jeff Levy and company. You know, Dan Mullen's previous team. Oh, and by the way, today With all the rumors that have been floating around, there's been a lot of talk of Kirk Signetti out of Indiana being a candidate. Cross him off. 11-year, $93 million contract. He signed it today, so you can cross him off the list of possible candidates. But everybody's top dog is Lane Kiffin right now. And I'm not sold on Lane Kiffin. I am not sold on Lane coming in being, quote, the savior of this team. Because I don't think he is. I think Lane has gotten lucky, and good for Lane. Good for Lane Kiffin. He's gotten a good team going right now. Okay, I'm just not right now. I'm not sold on him. Oh, by the way, we took a little side trip on the vacation. Went to Buc-ee's, and if there's one thing you want to put on your bucket list, you have to visit a Buc-ee's. I mean, that's a special drink I got there. I've got a big handful of vitamins, drinks, of course. Wink, wink, nod, nod. That was interesting in itself. But I don't know if Lane is the man right now. I just don't know. Because for these Gator fans, they are setting a barometer for a coach. They are setting the fans are more or less setting the terms. Which is to say, if you come to Florida, you have 4 years. 4 years to build a winner. Now, in this day and age, a lot of people say, yeah, you should be able to do that. I mean, look at Jeff Levy in Mississippi State. He's building a winner. He's building himself a winner. And, okay, hang on just a minute here. I'm going to put you on mute here. Hang on just a second. Be right back. Hang on. Seems that my guest has been having a little problems here. Let me see if I can't send him another link. And let's see here. Get him back on. Let's see here. Okay, come on. All right, there we go. All right. I gotta eliminate this right here. You don't want to know why. Eliminate this right here. All right, there we go. There we go. See if we can't get in through that link there. Of course, Ron Browne will be getting Ron Browne to join me here in just a second. But there are other people like PJ Fleck, other people like James Franklin, and I'm still mind-boggled by this. I'm just mind-boggled by James Franklin being fired. The guy just led you to a playoffs last year, and you go ahead and you fire him because of a 3-game losing streak? Please. For the love of God, you know? Jeez. I gotta mute this here for just a minute. Okay, let's see here. All right, there we go. Ron Brown finally checked in with us here, and Ron Brown joined me here. Can you try and help me make sense? Why Penn State fires a guy like James Franklin, a guy who leads you to the playoffs last year, and says, "What have you done for me lately? You're out of here. Time to give you a copy of the home game."
Well, I mean, they fired him because the perception is he can't win big games, and so as much as they're paying, and you know, 3 of the top 4 teams in the preseason rankings, Texas, Penn State, and Clemson, are not even ranked anymore. It's just the age that we live in. You spend all this money on NIL, and the coaches we had Mark Schlabach from ESPN.com on our show this morning, and he's right. It's about the players now. The coaches are being pushed to the side, and I tell you what else is happening. These collectives are now running your athletic department. This is what I think is happening, is they're saying, we're paying all these kids and we're getting crap results. You lost to Oregon in double overtime, understandable, but your record is like 5-24 against top 10 teams. That's not acceptable. You lost to UCLA. Don't you remember in Kingpin when Ishmael Borg lost to an amateur bowler and Roy Munson went nuts over him, from Ocelot, Iowa, by the way, in your home state. But that's a problem. Then you lost to Northwestern. This is the first or second time in college football history when a favorite of 20 or more points has lost back-to-back games. That right there, and all this NIL money. And then you got to be asking this question. Why couldn't you figure out how to get Bo Prebula, who's now at Missouri, starting over Drew Allar? All this talent and everything you have at Penn State, it's just not as good. Penn State has a very high self-opinion, okay? James Franklin, been there 12 years, 13 years, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is 12th year. They just had enough. It's just the money. The money, Joe Animal, the money is clouding the judgment. And I'm telling you, Auburn's team captain, Damari Alston, as Hugh Freeze said, did not meet the standard. I tell you what I found out, what I was told, he wanted to redshirt the rest of his senior year and come back next year and still practice with the team. And the collective, I believe, overruled Hugh Freeze, Auburn's head coach, for right this week he is, and said, BS, we're paying that kid. If he doesn't play, get him out of here. No more checks. I said this would happen. You wait till Yellowwood or AutoZone or Lowe's Building Materials. They're sponsoring some hotshot quarterback. He gets caught cheating on a test or doesn't go to class or gets a public drunk, charge. And the coach tries to suspend him, and those sponsors come in there and say, oh, hold on a second. We're giving $2.5 million to the NIL program. You're not doing that to us. This is where we are. And this is just the canary in the coal mine for what's about to happen. And I had Florida, I had a really close friend last night, ate dinner at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Wait. You were actually in Gainesville yesterday?
No, one of my really good friends. They were on the way. They were on the way to Orlando to go see their old boss. They used to be in Birmingham. He lives in a retirement home in Orlando. Surprise, a retirement home in Florida, Joe. But anyway,
that's amazing. Yes.
And yeah, so they went to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Absolutely had the greatest time of their lives. They said there was a party going on, a gathering of like 20 people upstairs in a private room, and they couldn't go up there. And the intel that my friend Lumpy Rutherford, I'll just call him Clarence Lumpy Rutherford, said was these Gator boosters, like 19 or 20 of them, raised got commitments for $74 million to get Napier out, buy out the staff, bring in a new coach, bring in his coaches, and just NIL, all that stuff. Now, I don't know how – look, this friend is a mechanical engineer. He's very smart. And they went upstairs and looked around visors. They said, if you hadn't been to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and you're a Gator or you're a college football fan, do yourself a favor and go. But that's where we are. They're going to piss away $74 million.
It's just, it's just unbelievable to see. Hang on, let me do this. It's just unbelievable to see this. I mean, with this NIL money stuff going around, that they think that they can just tell these players you have to play or you don't have to play. I think it's, I think it's stupid, but that is what you sell. If you want money and you want to get paid, that's fine. But that is the bad side of the deal. By the way, we've just gotten word a few minutes ago. Jordan Castell, who was on the injury report earlier this week, he's expected to play against Mississippi State this weekend. I didn't see the Texas game until very, very late. I heard the game on TV. I heard the game on the radio. I'm driving 12 and a half hours from Nashville to West Des Moines, and I heard the game on the TV. I mean, I didn't have to see visually. I mean, some of this play calling that Billy Napier is doing is just frustrating the hell out of me, and I don't know if he doesn't have confidence in this offense or what, but I mean, Ron, this is pathetic. Wait a second. Wait just a second there. That term, is that a Buc-ee's? Oh, not! Way to go! Wait a minute, I got one too. We went to great story on the side. When we went to Memphis, those are Buc-ee's in Kentucky. I guess that's where you got that one. So
I got this one in Leeds, Alabama, right outside of Birmingham. We have our oldest daughter went to Alabama. She's still a good person. She lives in Atlanta. So we go back and forth. We were just over there last Thursday and got home Sunday night about 8. And there's a Buc-ee's just east of Birmingham at the Leeds exit. So we hit it on the way over and on the way back. You just got to go to Buc-ee's. It's like going to Graceland. You got to go. And they're building one on I-40 at exit 28, right before you hit Memphis on the east side of Memphis.
Nice.
Building one in West Memphis, Marion, on the west side of Memphis, where I-40 and I-55 come together. And I wish I could have seen you and your wife. And I think one night I got home at 10 or 11, Touchdown Club.
You told me all about that.
I really wish I could have been there with you, but
it was such a great week of vacation. As I said, we were celebrating. Oh man! Hey, listen. If you go, we went to Nashville, and we visited the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh my God!
We visited the Ryman. Not only did we see a show there with the Four Tops, but we also got a tour of the place. We went to the Grand Ole Opry, and that was so cool. Even got a tour of the Grand Ole Opry on the morning of it. So that is special in itself.
Yeah.
And then the Country Music Hall of Fame. Okay, maybe you can explain this. Okay. And as I was telling our people, by the way, he's Ron Browne of SEC Sideline, just truly the animal. Have full cup of Joe coming at you on a Thursday night. So we go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and right across the street, it's like a, you know how Hollywood has a star-studded walk of fame. I don't know what they call it. Well, they had a country music walk of fame for all the stars. Loretta Lynn. Yeah. Loretta Lynn, Alison Krauss. You know what I'm talking about. You probably have seen it. Okay. Here's what's interesting. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed this. But when we're doing the Walk of Fame, we're taking all these pictures, and we took it with Kix Brooks.
Oh wow.
But here's the thing: Ronnie Dunn was not on that. Was not on the sidewalk.
That's unusual.
I know. I
They were
know.
they were turning out hits in the 80s and
I
90s.
tell me about it. I know. I can't figure out why. We looked all over. We looked all over for it. If you go there next time,
I'm
if
going
you
to
get a
Nashville
chance-
Monday. I'll be there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Got to go up there on business.
Okay, if you get a chance to do that walk, if you find it, send me a picture because I could not find it. So,
Yeah. Well,
so
the Grand Ole Opry and the Ryman Auditorium are incredible. My dad went up there when he was in college in 50 or 51, and the ushers were taking a smoke break. He was with 3 of his buddies, and they hitchhiked to Nashville from Memphis. They snuck in the side door and ran up in the rafters in the balcony. He said half the people in there weren't wearing shoes, wearing overalls and straw hats, drinking out of mason jars, drinking White Lightning and moonshine. And he said that night he saw Minnie Pearl, Roy Acuff, Jim Reeves, Eddie Arnold, like I said, little Jimmy Dickens.
yeah.
And the house came down the last act. It was like, somebody walking on water. Hank Williams came out and sang,
Oh yeah.
Your cheating heart.
Lord, yeah.
Lord, I'm going down in that river 3 times, but only coming up twice.
There you go. There you go.
I saw the light.
You went on an interesting point. If you go backstage in the Grand Ole Opry, they have all these different rooms. They have a bluegrass room. They'll have a new country room. They have all these rooms. And the only person that has a room by themselves are little Jimmy Dickens and I want to say Vince Gill, but I don't think it's Vince Gill. But I mean, it just blows your mind away in Nashville, of course.
Oh,
that was just it is just unbelievable.
You went on Broadway, yeah.
Yes, I went on Broadway, saw all the bars, Alan Jackson, Kid Rock has a bar.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Several other people have bars. Some of the acts were good. Some of the acts were fantastic. Other acts were just low key, things like that. But you had to spend the whole day down there. And I want to tell you something. I'm giving you advice right now. Do not park down in Nashville. When I parked down there in Nashville, the first day, it costed me $55 for 3 hours. Okay, yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you decide to go to Nashville, stay in a hotel and get a trolley service to take you down there. They do it for $15. And it takes you there, and then it would take you home. So it is just amazing.
Great advice.
So yeah, next time you do that, if you stay in a hotel, make sure you ask them if they have a trolley where they can take you down and back for $15 total, there and back.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, and you got to check it out. So where do we go from here now? I mean, with all the talk, we heard Billy's press conference. We heard Billy's press conference. At least I heard it on Monday. It really sounded like a swan song. That this might be it for him. We've heard reports that Scott Strickland met with a booster on Tuesday and talked to that booster. Don't know what happened with that meeting, but all signs are pointing that this could be Billy Napier's last game.
Well, you can't keep losing or half-assing the first 3 or 4 or 5 games every season and then magically hope it turns around. Last year, that's what they did. I picked them to win 8, but I picked them to win 10 this year, and they should. But Billy Napier went after an offensive coordinator. Who did he go after? Charlie Weiss Jr., who's, I think, an old Lane Kiffin, and he didn't get him. And then I think he said, you know what? I'm going to keep calling plays from my stone tablet that I use anyway.
And by the way, there was a report out. There was a report out that Billy Napier tried to get in touch with Charlie Weiss, not the senior Charlie Weiss, but
Junior.
Charlie Weiss Jr., to come and be the offensive coordinator for the Florida Gators. He turned him down.
Yeah.
Okay, that is Weiss turned Napier down. Now I don't know what happened with that conversation, but if Napier was out trying to get people to come on as offensive coordinator, and nobody's accepting it, I don't know what else you can do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong with this. My good friend Keena Kraft says hello from my good friend Lexi. So that's some good friends of mine. So I wanted to say hi. Thank you for watching. Yes, they really are. Is this his last game? Do you think?
Well, look, the reason it's the same thing Gus Malzahn, people would come there. I'm going to let you run the offense. No, you're not. And obviously his reputation is he's a good guy. People like him. He can recruit. He does a lot of things right. He could stay at Florida. He'd still be there. If he gets fired, it's going to be because he wouldn't put his ego aside and let someone else call the plays. And if people don't trust you, it's hard. Like the longer you stay at a school, it's harder to get assistants, good ones, to pack up and move across the country to come coach with you because they're like, you're going to be there a couple of years. I'm going to uproot my kids from school. And there's a lot that weighs in.
But here's the thing. We're talking about Gus Malzahn. He is the offensive coordinator at Florida State. He is not a head coach. And now I'm hearing reports of possibly Norvell possibly being out at the end of the year. I mean, that's talk about craziness in itself.
Florida State would owe him about $60 million. I don't know if they've got that money. I mean, you can get the money. It's just, what are you going to rob it from? That's what happens. That's where we are, dadgummit. And schools, look, we talk about the federal government and state governments wasting money. The colleges' athletic departments are far worse on a, microscopic level, but they piss away money. 60, 70 million to pay a coach, 76 million to pay Jimbo Fisher to not coach at Texas A&M. I mean, the people that keep putting these deals together, I worked at Regions Morgan Keegan in Memphis for 9 years. On the 5th floor was Jimmy Sexton and Kyle Rote Jr.'s office, Athletic Resources Management. Morgan Keegan owned them, and they went out on their own, but they were in our building the whole time. Man, I saw Coach Cal. I saw Scottie Pippen. I saw so many professional athletes, their clients coming in there all the time. They got coaches and everything. The schools are held hostage. If you get a coach in there, Mississippi State will pull the trigger. Zach Arnett was defensive coordinator for several years under Mike Leach. Mike Leach dies. Zach Arnett becomes the head coach. He made a terrible mistake. He scrapped the air raid offense and tried to put in his offense. He should have focused on the defense and let somebody run that offense, and they'd have been fine. They won 9 games that year. I mean, coaches people try to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to do that. And when that happens, it usually doesn't work out. And I think Billy Napier, if you had to describe his future at Florida, I mean, it's most likely the respirator's on, the priest is in the room, and they're calling the kinfolk to the bedside to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. How many times can you go back to your boosters, to your collectives, not just at Florida, but you pick the school. NIL will collapse on its own weight. Pet Rock's only stuck around so long. People don't go to the movies like they used to. Whatever happened to blockbuster franchises? I mean, they went the way of the dodo bird and the ivory-billed woodpecker.
Right. I think you're exactly right about it. And the way this is going, unless somebody puts a stop to it, NIL could be the root of all evil in all this, more or less.
It is.
Because, you stop and think about it. I didn't bother to think about this, but yeah, I mean, with the NIL deals, you're getting paid the money, but yet, you're also being told what to do.
They
You're
are.
at you're at their beck and call.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm wondering, and maybe some of these NIL people, let's say DJ Lagway, for example, are getting the hint from these NIL people saying, if you want the money, you may have to leave uh, after the year. Speaking of which, let's clear this up right now. Florida's in a position where they can fire their coach, Billy Napier, after the Mississippi State. They have a bye, so they have plenty of time to get a week and a half to get their game ready against Georgia. Now, I've been told that players cannot leave till the end of the year. I'm hearing conflicting reports. I'm hearing by some people, no, they can leave within a 10-day window. I'm hearing others saying that they cannot leave till the end of the year. What can you tell me about that?
They can quit and just not come to practice. Here's what's happened. The athletic director is now sort of there, but they've been stripped of their power. The collectives are now running. They are the de facto athletic directors. They're now running your athletic department because you got to pay to play. And so the collectives are going to go in there and they're going to say, you're going to play this guy or you're not going to play this guy. Your depth is somewhere else. The days of Kirby Smart stockpiling, all the 5 stars, 15 or 20 on the roster, those are going away. So used to be 1 through 44. Most people were pretty talented. It was 45 to 66 and 67 to 85. That's where the difference was in the elite programs. If you look at the top rosters in the country, it's Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, all right there. But
right.
The collectives, I really believe this, the collectives are calling the shots. They're bringing in the money,
interesting.
And they're going to tell you who to play. And if a kid says he's not going to play, the coach can't say, well, I'll let you redshirt. You wonder who the adults are. Who's telling these kids?
Exactly.
You guys, hey, be careful what you ask for because you might get it. Okay.
That's right.
So what you got going on, they wanted NIL. We want our bag, as Dion said, and all that crap. Okay. That's great. Now you're going to see kids. They're going to be athletic orphans. Poor Damari Austin. He's now gone at Auburn. You picked the school. So are you going to be able to go back and flash your class ring and network at the Letterman's Club at the Swamp, at Florida Field, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, at Alabama, Georgia? You're going to be able to go there and hobnob with all those boosters. Be very careful about pissing off the richest people in your state or your alumni base. It's not a good idea to do that. It's just not. But that's what
my chimp found that out.
That's what's happening is these kids. Look, we've got this victimization culture, and the kids, when the coach whines about officiating, hey, if they didn't call the penalty, then it didn't happen. But you, as a coach, you cannot be the defeated man. You cannot sit there and hang your head down and whine, because you know what happens? Your players pick up on that. You got to say, we got 60 minutes to win the damn football game. Go get it done. Or as they say down in the deep South, get her done. But
get her done.
That's what you got to do. And Florida has every resource imaginable. But where Florida, the more I'm learning about Florida, and I've always thought I knew a lot about Florida, but man, I'm learning a lot more, that they were way behind on facilities. But now,
at one time,
Joe, every coach we talked to, we had Mac Browne on the show recently. He said at North Carolina last year, kid comes in on Friday with his family. They spend all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday showing them all the academics and the majors and the buildings, the football building, and everything like that. Oh, everything's great. Time to leave Sunday after lunch. Parents sit down and they say, Coach, I know this is kind of an awkward question, but how much are you going to give us? And Mac Browne said, why not just have that discussion Friday afternoon, get it over with. And if it's not going to work, you don't waste all weekend with these kids.
Yeah.
And so, you got.
Are they allowed to do that?
Yeah, they can do it. They can do whatever they want.
Well, I mean, with the NIL in place, but here's the thing: they can't go to the coaches and tell them that. I mean, it has to be done through an NIL. Representative, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they are, but there's collectives. Some schools have two collectives. One is to get the kids on campus. The other one is once they sign, they try to keep them there. And then the kids can leave. They got that window now is January 2nd to the 16th. They got
that's the window that I was talking about, that if they leave, that Napier leaves, they can't leave till after January 2nd. But I've heard some people say that when the coach is fired, they have like 10 days to enter the portal. So I don't know where that stands. So I
think look, if a kid says he's going in the portal 3 weeks before the portal opens, he's gone.
Yeah.
Just let him go. I mean, every time you transfer, remember copies, like copy machines, fax machines, carbon copies. Every time you go another layer, another generation, it looks worse, looks crappier, more faded. Well, every time a kid transfers from one school to the other, he decreases his likelihood of graduating. Okay. Another thing that's important is if you transfer down from a power 4 to a group of 5 or division 2, that's a red flag for the NFL. It's like, so you couldn't handle the competition at the top level.
Yeah.
So wait till you get to the NFL. I mean, when you get to the NFL, what are you going to do? I'm telling you, the free market is working this out right now in front of you. Watch it. What happens.
It's just amazing. James Franklin gets fired. Kurt Signetti signed a new contract, which means forget about him coming to Florida.
Is the ink dry?
I tend to wonder that. I'm impressed that Indiana got that done and was thinking smartly. We've heard Alex Golish's name come up and for new coaching jobs. We've been hearing Dan Mullen possibly getting ahead, leaving UNLV, which he denies. I mean,
yes, he said he's going to stay. You have to take your coach at his word, don't you?
No, that's what I mean. If they say they're staying, guess what? They're going to be going.
Well, they're lying when their lips are moving.
I know, and any other schools that you're hearing that possibly may be wanting to make a coaching change? We know Florida State might be looking at a coaching change.
Kentucky.
Oh, Mark Stoops in trouble. Okay, that's interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if John Summerall, who's the coach at Tulane, who's been at Troy, he's from Huntsville, Alabama, went to Grissom High School. I've been told by a friend of his, he goes, Rob, nobody has better high school relations with the high school football coaches in Alabama than John Summerall. So if an opening occurs at Auburn, which it could as early as late Saturday night, Sunday morning, depends on what the collective says. Judging by the atmosphere when I was down at the Auburn, Georgia game, people have had enough. Here's what will tell you when apathy hits, it's bad. I got a lot of Florida friends. I'm on a lot of group texts with Florida people. The last few years, it was just like chatter, listening in NORAD, listening to chatter of the terrorists. Now it's nobody's even commenting. Auburn, I'm on 15 different texts, hundreds of people, usually 350 to 500 texts per game. Now people they have become at Florida and Auburn and a lot of schools, let's be honest, comfortably numb with this crap. Give credit to Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, and Chuck Leavell, the great band. You remember Pink Floyd, don't you?
Just another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Hey, can you stay with me for a few minutes?
Yeah. I've got to get off a little bit after 8, but I can do it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Okay, just take another sip of that specialty drink from Bucky's, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay. All right. So we'll be back with him in just a minute. There we go. With me. Now, let's get into my other boys, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as I said, I had the opportunity to go to Tennessee, and so we're staying in the Memphis hotel, beautiful hotel. And if you saw my Facebook, you saw where we could look out nice. It's this bridge changing colors, but that's beside the point. Anyways, we saw where the Buccaneers took on the Seattle Seahawks. Baker Mayfield leads them to a last-second drive. They end up winning the game. Now, we go to the next game this past week. Bucks taking on the 49ers. And it was a great ball game by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to come out and win that game. Now, I say that because, and I'm going to bring Ron back in because I'm going to bring, well, I was going to bring Ron back in, but he needs to do something. So I'll bring him back on in just a minute. Okay, he's back on. Okay. So I want to bring you. I want to. Let's see what I can do here. Hang on. What am I? There we go. Okay, there we go. So I want to tell you a great story, and this is going to really freak you out. Okay, now we're talking NFL now. Okay, get back home from Nashville Saturday night about 8:00. Catch the last part of the Gator game, which was depressing.
Yeah.
So I get up the next morning, and I was going to go to a Buccaneer watch party. We have a group of Buccaneer fans here in Iowa. Shout out to the Buckaholics, Buckaholics of Iowa. They are a Buccaneer fan club here in the state of Iowa. And we got fans all across, Buccaneer fans all across the state. So I go into Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm sitting down, and I'm ready to order some food, getting ready to watch the Bucs take on the 49ers. There's a gentleman that sits across from me. His name is Richard Scarvino. Shout out to Richard. He goes, "You look very familiar." I go, "Well, you must have seen me on the FBI wanted posters at the post office."
Right.
So, he says, "We'll see. I used to live in Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah,
that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And I just gotten out of the Marines, and I'm a diehard Buck fan. So I joined this booster club called the Clearwater Bucks Bunch. And he says there was this guy running around that looked just like you, named Animal." Yeah, I'm freaking out. Yeah, I'm freaking out. Turns out that he knew me. Okay,
wow.
After like 29, 30 years, the guy knew me, and he knew all about me. Knew all about what I used to be on the radio and back in Tampa Bay and everything. It was just a freaky event, you know. And I'm like, it's great, but on the other hand, it's kind of scary if you stop and you think about it, But anyways, yeah, I love it too. But the group called the Buckaholics of Iowa, they have a group of fans. They did a watch party at Buffalo Wild Wings. It's my understanding they're going to Detroit for the Monday night game against the Detroit Lions. By the way, let's give you some update information on that. Let's see here, because I have some information on that. One of the things I would tell you is that Mike Evans returned to practice today, along with corners Zion McCollum and Benjamin Morrison, rookies. They were out there practicing today, so that's encouragement. Now, whether they play Monday night against the Detroit Lions in Detroit, that is going to be very interesting to see what happens. We're going to keep our eye on that as the week goes on. Let's see here. And how about Jamel Dean?
Yeah.
Cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is a guy who has endured a lot of uh, criticism because of his play. But now this year he's having the time of his life, and he has become one of the better players on this Buccaneers team that right now is prompting them to 5-1. I don't know how much of NFL football you're watching, but let me say this: Baker Mayfield, he is a freaking stud.
It's the right fit.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that Baker freaking Mayfield, a guy who was at Cleveland, came from Oklahoma, had the gall to plant a flag of the Oklahoma flag on the Texas. What's the
Ohio
Texas?
State. Ohio State.
Ohio State's logo, and get away with that. Only Baker freaking Mayfield could do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't do well. He does plays like crap in Cleveland, then comes out and turns out that he plays. He does a great job and plays. Comes to Tampa Bay, and he's a freaking rising star. He's got a 3-year, $100 million contract, and that may rise the more that he plays. I mean, Ronnie is just unbelievable.
It is. Yeah. Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, two SEC guys, played, both of them played at Auburn. Tampa Bay's good. And it's, I remember back in the late 70s when the expansion occurred, they had Neil O'Donohue, the kicker, John McKay as the coach, and they were really bad. I think that one year they went almost winless.
2 years, almost 2 years.
78, 79, it was rough, man. But, 79 was a rough year in the state of Florida. The Gators went 0-10-1. It was tough. But I just look around the NFL, the product that the colleges are sending them, these kids are way behind in terms of their development and their skills. We're sending food out from the kitchen that hasn't been all the way cooked. You know how when you get like salmon on your table in a nice restaurant and it's raw, it's not sashimi, sushi. That's what we're doing. And the NFL people are telling us, they're saying these kids, and also they don't care. They've already been getting paid. That's why these kids don't want to. Diego Pavia might make it in the pros, but very likely these are his peak earning years, unless he gets into movies or becomes a country music singer on Broadway. I don't know. But that's what's going on. These kids, and the average NFL career is about 4.5 years. So you got to stay at least that long to get the pension, which kicks in when you're like 55. The kids now, a lot of them, they don't have the stamina. I mean, how many really fundamentally sound football teams are you seeing right now? And
Not many.
Hey, look, I was watching the local news tonight. Penny Hardaway, the Memphis basketball coach, they were having a big deal with the men's and women's basketball teams, University of Memphis on Beale Street. And he said, it's tough right now because the fans, they don't know the players, but they got to come out and get to know them. And the players are all like, we've been told basketball is a really big deal in Memphis. Well, you ought to know that, but this is where we are. The fans want to know these players, but they want to identify with them. You pick the sport. That's what you need to do is NIL. You sign a contract gives some sort of indentured servant, deal. That's what really, it's what a contract, you don't sign contracts and just break them whenever you want to, unless you're paid the money back. And here's what, do you think these kids are saving all this money? They've all got 15 or 20 people grabbing at them, wanting to borrow money that they'll probably never pay back. And eventually these kids have to tell their friends and their hangers-on and their family, no, I can't do this. I can't keep giving you money.
No,
ask NFL players. They'll tell you if the money's both a blessing and a curse. And if you don't understand how to deal with it, it's getting to these college kids. Do you see him walking off the field in tears? How many Tim Tebows do you see now in college football in tears at the end of a game because he's poured everything he's got into it? I mean,
you know what? Here's what I would say, and as a fair point, when you see DJ Lagway and you saw him on the sidelines that game on last week, he was visibly pissed.
Yeah.
He was upset. I mean, he took the thing. For a guy like DJ Lagway, he's taking it very seriously. Now, at what point does DJ Lagway say, "The hell with this crap. I'm doing things my way. I'm going to try and save your job. Let me do my thing here." I'm waiting for DJ to step out of this. I'm under the coach's thumb and let him do his own thing. It's just driving me crazy. I know he's played only a year or so, but I think DJ's one of those special kids that if he does that, I think he could be very special.
He could, but he's from 45 minutes away from College Station where he grew up. He had all of his family and friends there watching him. That bothered him. But, and I'm going to have to go in a minute, but I'm just going to say this. We had Shane Matthews on the show last Thursday, and he talked about this. Like, Arch Manning, he goes, he's going to be a great quarterback. But he started 7, now 8 games. And I tell you what, Oklahoma, Brent Venables, it's going to be interesting.
They're talking about him being possibly.
Oh, yeah. Why did you play John Mateer? He had blood coming off his hand, dripping blood in that game from that. He had hand surgery. That could affect his ability to throw.
Yes, it could.
And there's pressure from these collectives. Don't act like it's not coming. Play him. I'm paying that kid $1.75 million. Get his ass out there. Are they overruling the team doctors? You better. Look, this is what happens. The NFL, Ronnie Lott once cut part of his finger off so he could play it because there's so much money on the line.
Yeah.
I'm against anything that makes college sports more like pro sports. It worked to be. We had a pro league. College was amateur. Now we know there was cheating and under the table shenanigans going on. To put it,
I'm ready to get back to that era.
Yeah, just keep it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I know. I'm ready to get back to that area. Listen, I know you got to go. Will you be able to join me next week, or you're going to be busy?
Yeah, I'll do
okay.
it.
If you can,
I'll be ready. I'll be ready. But
get out of here.
Yeah, what I'm saying is just we've got to get. College football is all about identifying with these guys that are at your school, or if you didn't go to school there, they represent and they connect to you. We've got to get back to that. We really got to get back to that. And I think that there's only so many times you can go to your boosters and keep, shaking the cup. Hey, here. People, look, they're not that dumb. And you keep pumping money into these kids and they're driving up in a Lamborghini to practice on a 7-5 team. Come on. You can't do that. So
I know
the free market will get college football back. It's not gone, but right now it's a huge split sandwich, if you know what I mean. And we've all got to take a bite.
There you go. Why don't you go take a bite and take off? I will see.
Thank you for having me. Okay.
Hey, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. Ron Browne of SEC Sidelines. Such a pleasure to have him on board. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Billy may be on his way out, which is very sad to see because, and I know that we're in the age of the portal and all that stuff, but, I think that for them, I think the best thing that Florida could do is to let Napier finish the season out. Let's see what happens. I don't think he makes a difference, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see who takes over on the interim reigns. Because even though the defensive coordinator Ron, what's his name? I forget his last name. The defensive coordinator for the Florida Gators could be taking over as the um, interim head coach. But I I would throw something out here. Ron Roberts' name, by the way. I would tend to throw something out here. How about Steve Spurrier Jr.? I mean, why not? He his dad was a great coach. I mean, why not? Let's see if Steve Spurrier Jr. could be interim head coach. We're gonna find all that out as we get going. Now, let's get into the Buccaneers. They took on the San Francisco 49ers. 30-19 was the final score as Baker Mayfield threw for 256 yards on the day, where Sean White ran for 65 yards and Kerryon Johnson ran for 64 yards. Let's see here. Who was it? Kerryon Johnson. He caught a touchdown pass. Tez Johnson caught a nice 45-yard touchdown pass from Baker. And the way that play developed is that Baker was in a jam, got out of it, was able to throw up 45 yards for a touchdown. Then Tez makes a great leaping catch, scores a touchdown, and then it does his dance. Okay, here's what's happening. The crowd is chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. Tez actually thought that was for him. He was saying that on the sideline. He thought that was for him, but said that was for Baker Mayfield. And that was just outstanding. But I still get freaked out over hearing the events that happened, meeting a guy who knew me 29, 30 years ago at a Buck Booster Club. 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 30 plus years. And the guy knew who I was. I mean, I know I'm truly one of a kind, but I didn't think I would be that one of a kind. Unfreaking believable. Bucks are now playing Monday night against Detroit. As we said, Mike Evans will be back playing. He was practicing, may play Monday night. No Chris Godwin yet. No Egbuka. He's not going to play on Monday night. So it's Bucky Evans. There is some chatter on X that Bucky Evans may have to be placed on injured reserve. I'm not calling that yet. I have no confirmation on that story. So we're about ready to pull out of here for another great edition of Have Full Cup of Joe. Steelers are up 10-0 on Cincinnati. That's going on right now. Other games on the tap this weekend. The Rams will be at Jacksonville for an 8:30 game. And then Saints at the Bears. Miami's at Cleveland. New England at Tennessee. The Raiders will be at Kansas City. Philadelphia will be at Minnesota. Carolina at the Jets. Giants will be at Denver. Indianapolis will be at the Rams. Chalk up another win for the Colts. I'm kidding, Vince. Washington will be at Dallas. Green Bay at Arizona. Atlanta at San Francisco. Then there'll be two games on Monday night. Bucks at the Lions at 6 p.m. on ABC. That's 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the nightcap will have Houston versus Seattle. I wonder if the Manning telecast will have both of those games. It would be interesting to see. I actually like the Manning cast. I think it's different. I think it provides interesting analysis. I don't know how you guys feel, but I love it. College football. Some great games happening. Louisville, or they like to say Louisville, will be at Miami tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central on ESPN. Nebraska will be at Minnesota. North Carolina will be at Cal for a 9:30 game on Saturday. LSU will be at Vanderbilt. The Huskies will be at Michigan taking on the Wolverines. Other games, Oklahoma will be at South Carolina for 11:45 Central game. The Buckeyes will be at Wisconsin, 2:30 p.m. on CBS. I know how Ohio State's a good team, but it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me if the Badgers upset Ohio State. Let's see here. Indiana will be at home against Michigan State. Texas A&M will be at Arkansas. Ole Miss will be at Georgia. That game 2:30 on ESPN on ABC. Other games to watch out for. Gators will be at home against Mississippi State. That's homecoming weekend, by the way. Okay, Gator Growl is going to be tomorrow night. Okay. And I wish if somebody could tell me how you can watch Gator Growl on TV, that would be great. In fact, I should post that later on tonight on X. Texas will be at Kentucky. Penn State will be at Iowa for a 6 o'clock matchup. You can watch that game on Peacock. Tennessee will be at number 6 ranked Alabama. That's a 7:30 kickoff. USC will be at Notre Dame. That'll be on NBC and Peacock. For Atlantic, we'll be playing South Florida. Missouri will be at Auburn. Florida State is traveling to the West Coast to take on Stanford. That should be that might be a very interesting game. It might be able to dictate where Mike Norvell will finish, if Mike Norvell will actually have another season. Well, it has been great. It's been great to be back. I have got some other things I got to do. Spend some time with the lovely one. We'll be back next Thursday. Another edition of Animal with Half Full and Cup of Joe. If there's breaking news on at Florida, we might come on Sunday on Facebook Live on my page and do a report. Possibly do it through YouTube and other forms of platforms to watch as well. I want to thank Keena Craft for commenting. I want to thank Ron Browne for joining me tonight. Hopefully, Lauren Meadows will be back next week, and he can talk about what is going on as well. Been great. Have a great night. God bless. And despite what happens, if you're not a Gator, you're primed to be Gator bait. Good night and God bless. And y'all have a good one. Let's see if I can do this. What's going on? All right.
Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time. Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time.